Okay, yep, it started a recording. Perfect. All right. I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar about the Key Steps program. And Bernie and I have been looking for something like this quite a while because what the Key Steps program is a tool to help us better attract, nurture, retain, and close all of our prospects. And my name is Rosemary Ashley, and I'm presenting today with my partner and husband, Bernie Ashley. Bernie waves so everybody sees your face. And Ethan View, he's from FinLocker, and they are the programmers, correct me if I'm wrong, programmers, hosts, and operational support for this program that's designed to attract, retain, nurture prospects better, um, so that we can get more closings. We're going to go into a little bit more later, but let's start with introducing us. I'm Rosemary Ashley. My partner and husband is Bernie Ashley. We work for Pinnacle Mortgage. Both of us got into the mortgage business in the early 1990s. In the mid 90s, we were competing against each other. We hadn't met each other, but we were competing against each other. We met in 94 and started partnering up on our marketing. A couple years later, we were married and we've been business partners ever since. In the early 2000s, Bernie and I had a wholly uh, owned and operated branch to originate mortgages. So we did everything from the marketing, we did the origination, we supervised the processing and closing, and I was also an underwriter. So we basically could do everything in-house. We did ask the corporation for a draft, if you remember those. So we've got a pretty long perspective of the market, and we also have quite a few aspects of the whole origination. So we know what the processors and underwriters are looking for, and we have done a lot of business with our real estate community. In fact, that's how we met. Um, so what we've been noticing is that we're increasingly getting people that aren't quite ready to buy. I mean, it used to be, the 80-20 rule. 80% were ready, to buy. Here, give me your paperwork. Here's your pre-qual letter and go buy a house. But over the years, I mean, it's not like Metro Detroit's had any economic hardship or anything, but over the years, I've noticed more and more people are less and less ready to buy a house. So what it's taking is a lot of development. So, um, what we do is we joined Pinnacle last year, and Pinnacle is a mortgage broker, and we joined them because they have absolutely fantastic back office support. We got people with gray hair running our processing and our loan officer assistant departments. They have a lot. Our head loan officer assistant, she used to be an underwriter, so we have a lot of access, a lot of resources. Plus, we have programs that all kinds of QM and non-QM programs. So we joined them about a year ago now, and one of the things that we like is our operations team is incentivized. So they have the same kind of drive to get the loans closed as quickly as possible, and they're fantastic support. As I said, a lot of people are not quite ready to buy a house. So we've been looking for a tool that we can use to better nurture them so we can be available. We can be available for them when they're ready for us. Now, Bernie, would you like to add some things?
Yeah, well, you didn't mention that we have 90 lenders to place these loans with.
We
So
got over 90, yeah.
that makes us very competitive, and we have a very wide spectrum of lending possible to take care of your customers, especially the ones that are a little bit off the grid. A lot of lenders will just pass them by, but we can actually get them to closing. Um, Float down. We actually have a float down option. A lot of lenders don't. You get locked in, the rate drops, you're kind of out of luck. But that's a very attractive feature that we offer because if I got you locked up at one lender and the rate goes down, we just simply transfer it to another lender with the lower rate. Um, that's all I have to add as far as the lending stuff goes.
Yeah, they one of the other things that I really liked about Pinnacle is they have a commitment to relationship sales. As everybody knows, the way we get business has changed. And the part I like best is working with the realtors and the buyers. So that is what we're here to that's what we're here to talk about, this program, which is ideal to capture prospects when they're first starting to think about it. And quite honestly, that begins when they're setting goals. That begins at, I'd like to buy a house someday soon, and what do I need to do? And we spend a lot of time educating customers because we have relationship sales, and we had to find a better way of working with these people, developing the people, so that we can turn these people who are not ready into closed loans sooner rather than later. And there are so many tools involved in this key step program, which I'll let Ethan talk to you about. um, let's talk for a minute about I'd like to hear from you, realtors who are here. You can either raise your hand, there's a digital raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat. What are you experiencing with the prospects that you guys are meeting?
And you're asking
What do
like in
you
terms of
what?
a buying timeline? Are
I'm
they ready
asking the real
now?
estate agents, yeah, what are you meeting
Yeah.
with the prospects that you're meeting? Are they ready? Are there what are you finding in the prospects that realtors are meeting these days? Everybody's too shy to talk. Now there's a
Feel
little microphone button. Yeah, credit
feel
is not ready.
feel free to
Find
turn
out.
on
Thank
your
you,
cameras.
Eric.
Feel free to turn on your cameras. We'd love to see your beautiful faces.
Oh. Right. A lot of customers, their credit's not exactly where it needs to be, or it can be improved. Now, like Bernie mentioned, we have a lot of sources of business. We can go down to 500 in some credit score in some cases. The guidelines are a little tighter on that, but we have access to that. So sometimes we can get customers right away through some of our alternate programs, but sometimes they need to develop their credit. And there are tons of credit repair companies. And basically, what they do is they follow the law. And a lot of customers, I found that they really don't want to pay for what they could do themselves, and that's certainly understandable. So one of the things that I like about this Key Step program is it guides them through. Who else? What? Who else? What's your last prospect? How were they? Anybody? We have a shy crowd. Hello,
Why?
Ron.
Why?
Welcome.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how to turn off my microphone. Well, I'm more of a kind of a boutique realtor right now. So, my last prospects have basically been referrals. In fact, my current prospect that I'm working with is a family member. So, uh, that's kind of where I've been getting my stuff is referrals. I mean, I've been in business since 2002. But I do other businesses now, so I kind of still do real estate, but not full time. But I get my base now from referrals for being in business for what, 23 years now. So
Oh, that's
where I get my
wonderful.
stuff.
Well, who else?
You know any good lenders?
I don't know. I heard this guy Bernie Ashley might be good, but I don't know. I haven't checked him out, but I heard he's pretty good. Maybe I might give him a call one day.
What about your customers, that anybody whose customers are coming in pre-approved? Are you seeing a lot of that?
For me, you know, I've got kind of a unique base. dealing with a lot of Middle Easterners right now, and I get a lot of them are cash buyers, or they go through a private system.
I understand.
One of the things that we ran into is I did have a guy in Bernie and Rosemary, you know that, so maybe the gentleman who's hosting this can look into this as well. We need to tighten up something on the doctor's loans, because I tried to get you guys that one, and you guys, your interest rate was just a little too high. Huntington kind of killed that deal for you guys, so but that's something
Well,
I'd like to see.
oh yeah, well we got a few more lenders that are coming in with doctor's loans. It's apparently it's a thing now, and they're real doctor's loans, and I have yet to actually price those out. But yeah, a lot of the people are coming in from their banks, and the banks and credit unions do have some special programs that they that work really well with highly qualified people. Those are the ones that we probably won't be able to do. We would rather say, hey, go to the credit union and get your $20,000 HELOC because it's going to be less expensive and better for you. That's part of the relationship sales. Um, I've met a lot of people that have the income challenges, savings is a big thing, where to come up with the money down. And there's some loans that get pre-approved online. And when the customers come in pre-approved, all the realtors want to show them houses, but unfortunately the quality of the online approvals varies with the lender. But what I've done in the past is I write down on a sheet all the qualifying information, the referral source, and everything when they need, when they're planning on buying, and I do a really good job of following up. But when they come to a point where they need to wait, that's where my follow up has been not not good enough because I'll put them in my CRM and and then information goes out regularly. And I call the prospects every once in a while because you're supposed to call them, seeing how they're doing. But what I found is I can't hit them at the right time. They're like, oh yeah, I just bought a house last month. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, man. I got it online. Or they forget. They forget if you're not at the top of their mind. Um, so what I realized is you got to change what you can, right? Um, the quote buyer loyalty that we used to have, it's not quite as strong anymore. So we need to be able to reach out to these customers when they're ready to buy. And that's one of the things the Key Step program helps us do because of the follow up. Because every time they go in to the Key Step program, we get notifications anytime they do anything, anytime their credit changes, anytime they're shopping for a house. Um, and a lot of times I just wonder, how many loans have I lost because I did not call them at exactly the right time? And this is a system that we're using to overcome that challenge. So, Ethan, you work with people, work with loan officers who work with realtors all over the country. I'd like to hear your perspective on a national level.
Yeah. So what two things that I didn't hear mentioned were like the mismatch in what I think I can afford and what I can actually afford.
Yeah.
A lot of people find themselves disappointed when they actually see that number of what they're pre-approved for, and they've been shopping outside that. So getting them in a tool like Key Steps helps them understand affordability before disappointing themselves, essentially. And then the emotional aspect, like people just emotionally aren't ready to buy. Maybe they're not ready to lock themselves in a particular area just yet, and they're almost like stringing along their real estate agent and loan officer, not really being upfront about that. So with Key Steps, where we're seeing those two issues get overcome is they're empowered on their own. They don't need someone to set them up in a search platform or pre-approve them really to understand those details. They can just check their mortgage readiness based on their credit score, their income, their outstanding debts. We can give them a good idea of where they stand. and then empower them with a home search where they're not going to get lost in a lead funnel. They're not going to get their data captured and sold just because they're using the platform. They're
Raise your
able
hand if
to,
you've ever lost a customer that
yeah,
way. To Zillow. Anybody? Zillow, Redfin. Nobody's raising
yeah,
their hand. You all shy.
Yeah, I think everybody has, to say the truth. They're not being truthful. I mean, like I said, I've been in business for 20 years in the real estate side, 30 years in the insurance side. So I mean, yeah, if you don't, everybody's lost at least one if you've been in the business that long.
yeah. And if you see like some of the big news lately, like Credit Karma, they just introduced a refi tool in their app where they can basically originate refis in Credit Karma. Um, Redfin was bought up by Rocket Mortgage just in the last year or two. Truebill was acquired ahead of that. So a lot of these big lending institutions, they're racing to the top of the funnel, which is tools like a credit monitoring tool, a home search platform, budgeting tools, all of those which are offered in Key Steps in a protected, insulated environment where they're not going to get all the noise from I'm interested in this home. Okay, now I got 15 calls over the next 2 days and I can't escape it. So um, that's really the whole ethos of Key Steps. It's a way to protect your consumers from the noise while giving them these meaningful tools um, that they can work on whatever they need to work on. If it's credit, if it's savings, if it's just building the confidence on their own so that they're emotionally ready to buy, seeing that monthly payment in their budget. It's there's a lot of good tools in here where they can actually visualize, what is this going to look like for me and how will that impact my budget essentially, which most people don't do. So we take a lot of the heavy lifting off of the consumer and we can categorize all of their spending so they know where they're spending money, where they should focus on a budget. And we'll get into all that in the demo. I don't
It's
want to
also it's also an amazing prospecting tool, which that part he's talking about is great, but to keep your current people that you're already got coming in, but we can actually expand on who you got coming in, because this is a lot easier for them to jump in this program. You say, hey, listen, why don't you go talk to a lender, get pre-approved? All of a sudden they turn white. I don't know what it is, but they absolutely just, they bring out the cross like we're vampires or something. It's just like they don't want to talk to us. Now, here's a step between the, actually showing up at the lender where they can go in there and sneak around, do their thing, not be bothered by any of us.
Oh,
Uh,
and I don't want to, I have a hard pull on my credit report. I hear that a lot too.
yeah, so I find that especially, I'm really impressed with it as a lead magnet for the open house, because you got people sneaking in those open houses. They're just trying to suck up information, run around, see what they got. Some of them don't even want to sign up. Well, with a flyer down the Key Steps, that's a good magnet. So all they got to do is take a picture. They hit the QR code, boom, sneak over there. We got them, even though that they think they got away, and they might not answer your phone eventually. You have access to them. You'll be able to contact them. You become their friend without, you know, that's just the way it goes. They always want to do as much as they can on their own, it seems like. And that's even pre-approved buyers, because I got pre-approved buyers in this system. They're approved, they're high quality, top shelf buyers. It's not that they're not ready yet. It's I don't know what they're doing. They've been out there for a couple months and they just haven't bought a house. So in the meantime, uh, we don't especially don't want those people to go astray. We don't want them out on the internet fooling around. We don't want them showing, driving by signs and pounding on the door and stuff like that. So, like I say, it's there's a wide amount of reasons to use the thing. It's just a very useful tool to corral and nurture borrowers in just about any shape.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily bad leads. They're just people who need some nurturing, and we can do that. They're just not ready. I mean, I don't know about you, but in 3 to 6 months and 12 months, I'm probably still going to be originating mortgages. So this is a way to build the pipeline with, like Bernie said, with the new prospects, even if they're not ready, because it's never if you can get approved for mortgage financing. It's when and what do I have to do to get there. So Ethan's going to go talk a little bit more about how we can capture the early stage buyers.
Let's do it. I've got some slides here, but I won't spend too much time on the slides. We can get into the actual platform here because I think that's where you'll really be able to visualize what this tool can do for you. But this is just going over like kind of how the buyers are making decisions, on who they're going to work with, and a lot of the times they end up going with the first person they meet, and that kind of brings it back to race to the top of the funnel. If their first intro to a professional is from the Credit Karma app that they're using or the Zillow, it about half the time they're going to end up working with them. So it's important to get ahead of that, give tools that are going to provide that same outlet to a consumer. And the best part is when they're using that tool, they see you. They're reminded of you, and there's easy call to actions that they can push an email to you from the app. You're going to get alerted when they're searching for homes. So that's a timely way to reach out as they're looking at these properties that they might want to go view, or maybe even put an offer in on, depending on where they are. These are where those leads are coming from. So from a real estate website or app, referral from a friend, relative, neighborhood, we know that's a huge one. Knowing just from the community, past experience, attended an open house, social networking, and all of these you can probably grow that number a little bit or grow the conversion number by keeping them in a key steps app where again, just reiterating the see your face when they're using the tools. When we talk about this referral source, if you think of all the people you've closed, maybe this app might not necessarily be for them. Like maybe they're a perfect credit score, high net worth individual, but if do they have children or a niece, nephew that might be looking to buy in the next 6 months to 2 years? Those are a way to kind of grow that referral channel where you've got this loyal customer. They trust you. So a lot of times when someone who's that millennial Gen Z, they're just looking to buy, they're asking a relative, who should I go with for like a real estate agent or a loan officer? Having a tool that your customers can give to that next generation of buyers is extremely powerful. Back there. So this is hitting on a lot of what we opened the call with, is like that call to action. So at an open house, having the QR code there as an outlet, a way to capture that first name, last name, email, and phone number. That way you've got them in your database and can maintain that relationship. Outlets on your site. So there's we say this with loan officers, a lot of them have like the apply now on their website. But what about for the people that aren't ready to apply? What about the people that aren't ready for that next step? Give them an outlet to check, am I ready to buy? What does my readiness assessment look like? Start your home buyer readiness plan is a good one. If any of you are active on social, getting a good
All of
amount
us
of
are.
engagement, are those folks converting into leads? If not, this is a good tool to, like I mentioned, get that first name, last name, email, at least initially, and then as they engage, you're going to get even deeper data and findings on these prospects. This is hitting on the top of the mind fact. So this is, your face in the app every time they're using it. And then on the other end, your or the buyer's top of mind for you as they're engaging in these important milestones. So if you start seeing like 3 notifications a day from one of these buyers that they're searching for homes, they're saving homes that they're interested in, that's a good indicator that they're heating up. This is someone that, I should start checking in with on a weekly basis or however often that may be.
Yeah, targeting our prospecting calls.
Exactly. Yes. Um, Repeat business. So you close someone, this app doesn't go away. They can link their property in here. They can link that new home, track the value of that. They can link that new mortgage that they just closed on and get real-time equity updates as to how that's growing over time. And for those buyers that, they're the clean file, the 800 credit score, tons saved for down payment. Maybe you don't put them in the app during the buying process, but after they've closed, here's a gift, now you can track your value and as they're getting those property value alerts, again, you are staying top of mind. You're in the app, the one that's providing this value to them.
I mean, who doesn't want free credit monitoring and repair services? I mean, a lot of people pay for that. I think we still pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do pay for that every month, so.
We need to stop.
Yeah, in most cases it is a paid service. So that's already just a great value that you can provide to your customers. And then this to bring it all home, this is the story of KeyStep. So your buyers are, most likely using multiple apps that we see on this screen. Credit, Sesame, Credit Karma, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, NerdWallet, LendingTree. All of these are free platforms, but the consumer is the product there. Their data is captured, it's sold, and then there's advertisements within the platform that are sold to different institutions. So it's really just a big old marketplace for the big lenders and real estate companies out there to source leads. And the consumer most of the time is not aware of that. That is the ultimate end game of those apps. So with KeySteps, it's something that Bernie and Rosemary are paying for. So they're paying for this service to give the consumers an insulated environment where they're protected from that noise. So it's a free app to the consumers, and they're still getting that free aspect of it without getting their phone blown up on a Saturday morning or their emails, just 10 emails a day after filling out a pre-approval form or a open house lead form on one of those sites. And it keeps them focused. It keeps them focused on what they're here for. They want to buy a home. They don't want credit card offers like they're going to see in Credit Karma. They don't need that. They need, most cases, if they're in this app, it's because they're not ready and maybe they need to work on their credit. So all of that marketplace that's offered in Credit Karma is ultimately going to pull them further from that angle. With that, I'll get logged into our KeySteps account here. While I'm getting logged in, is anyone using like a tool like this to use with borrowers that aren't ready, or do you have anything today that's working well to capture more of the not ready people, the folks that are going to close next year, let's say?
Yeah, I haven't seen any either.
Yeah, I
I haven't seen
know
anything like this. I've
a
seen a
lot of
whole
what we
lot
hear.
of expensive automation programs that claim to be able to do everything, but I haven't seen anything that gives us the tools that we need to know when to work with them.
And that's just it. Yeah, it's the a lot of folks will have them just on a drip campaign. It maybe it'll give them a recipe or a what's happening in the area, which is great. It's a good way to stay top of mind, but does it convert for you? Most cases, it's at least not converting as well as you'd like. So this is a good tool to try where you're giving them these meaningful tools to engage with. Um, the updates that they're getting are relevant and something they're going to want to check when they say my hey, there's some activity on your credit report. Come back into the app to see what's going on, or your credit score went up 15 points. That's an exciting moment for a consumer, and that's coming from you. So when they're coming back to the app, just reinstilling that value and that partnership that
It's a
you're
way to give
providing.
value added to your customers without spending a dime.
Yes. And so I'll start poking around here. I'm going to go into credit because this is one where we really see consumers engage early, and it's one that keeps people coming back to the app. They're going to get a weekly credit score update in here, which will also refresh their entire report and all of the different factors that make up their credit. So it's going to start to educate them on what are the higher impact items down to the lower impact. And for these, they can visualize their actual data as it makes up this factor. So utilization, how much of your available credit are you using? It'll explain that to the consumer and explain like what the target is, what's the recommended ratio here. So we're educated that it's about 30%. So we can see at an aggregate level how we're doing. It'll even relay a message. So if I'm at or above that 30%, I'd be getting more of a cautionary message here advising me to pay some debt down. And then they can see each individual account, how that utilization looks.
I learn
Yeah,
something new
maybe
every
that
day.
way they won't go buy that car the day before closing, huh?
And that's actually something they can simulate. So when we talk about our simulator, this gives the consumer to the power to do what if scenarios on their own. They don't need a credit repair coach or a loan officer even to walk them through it. It's self-serve. They can do anything from a inquiry on their report, so like a hard pull against their credit, to a auto mortgage personal loan. How will that impact my credit? Say I want a $25,000 auto loan here. This one's a pretty established credit profile, so it's not going to have a huge impact. But someone who's, maybe got 2 years history of credit for the average age, that'll be a much more significant drop. And they can stack these simulations on top of each other. So, I can do one at a time, or I could say, what if I get an auto loan and I also get a new credit card with a $15,000 credit limit? And so that actually brought me back up, I think, a point because it's expanding my available credit.
To the
Um,
realtors on here, this is a very, very valuable tool that mortgage companies pay a lot of money for every customer that they do these scenarios with. This is one of the ways that traditionally, we can look at the credit report and say, okay, your balances are over your maximum. You got to bring them down. Okay, that's kind of safe. But a lot of what we've done in the past is spent the money on the credit reports, which are already like $130, $140 a piece. And then we add this to them. And then later on, we tell them what to do to fix it, then they fix it, then we do a updated credit report, ends up costing the customer a ton of money. This will save the customer a ton of money because they will be able to get this access directly through the Key Step program. And that is one thing. What I've been using it for is to monitor, say, okay, did you pay your credit cards down below the maximum yet? Yep. Okay, let's check your Key Step credit score. Okay, it's gone up. Okay, now let me run the hard pull when it's at its highest point that we're going to see it. So that gives me some timing on when I pull the hard credit report. That's good for the next 4 months.
Yeah, I love that. And this isn't like a FinLocker scenario tool that we made up. This is actually pulled directly from TransUnion's algorithm. It's a integration we have with TransUnion. So this is, about as real and accurate of a projection as they can get. And then some of the other things they can do balance transfers, getting added as a authorized user, pay off all their cards. They can even do negative items. Like what would a 30-day late payment look like on my report, or if a card went to collections?
Just a question that I don't know. Is there a way that they can say what if that collection was removed?
That we do not have.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't go into like
I've
removing
never seen it before.
collections
I just thought
or
I'd ask.
yeah, no, more so like based on the existing trade lines, any increases, decreases, or net new additions.
Well, I can tell everybody if the collection is removed from your credit report, your score will go up. So
Yes. The other interactive tool they're going to have access to is the Credit Compass. And so this one becomes really powerful more for the user who doesn't understand credit. They're relatively new to it. And also if they're a lower score than this, it'll probably help them a bit more than a 794. But you can plug in a target credit score. So think of like the 500 credit score, need to get to a 620. That's, a great person for this tool. I'll just say I want to get to an 820. And it'll give you different timelines and some general guidance on how to get there, just helping the consumer understand which of those factors, the ones that we looked at earlier, which of those should be the focus, and what are some ratios or numbers I should target.
Melanie has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Hi, thanks for coming.
good to see you guys. Yeah, this is great. So my question is, I'm not really familiar like with how Credit Karma or those other websites work. Because I have someone who I've been trying to convince them to get something like this to fix their credit. But what's the difference if they were like, oh no, I just went to Credit Karma and they're trying to help me? What's the difference between that and this?
Yeah,
Credit Karma sells their information. They get spammed. And I don't
that
know
is the
Credit Karma
difference.
either.
Yeah, that's the difference. They're essentially the same credit product. They're going to have like a simulator in there as well, the Credit Compass. So they're essentially getting the same tool, just without getting their data sold and all the different marketplace offers that they're going to get within there. So same tool, just no distractions or solicitations.
I've noticed that you got the Vantage score on this one, right? I don't know where Credit Karma, what instrument they use, but I just know it's a shot in the dark. I don't even listen to it anymore. When people say, well, my Credit Karma score is, it's like, okay, whatever, and then I go pull a soft or something. Now I don't have to pull a soft because I got you guys, but yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for, they could be 100 high, 100 low. I've had people hit me with low scores, and then turns out, they're just fine. Other people think they got the world under their feet, and when I pull it up, it's 530. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So I notice this one here is real close.
Well,
More accurate.
the funny thing about that is we're actually using the same model. we just don't hide it. We will take into account that the Vantage will typically run a little bit higher than a FICO. So when they're running things like a mortgage readiness assessment, we're going to pad that star, which you'll see here in the next feature. Um, typically they're graded at a 620 on a conventional. We're grading at a 640 to account for some of that extra
Ah,
padding that the Vantage will come with. But
gotcha.
with Credit Karma, they don't do any of that upfront education to the consumer that this is not going to be the same score your mortgage lender is going to use in underwriting, whereas we do set those expectations.
Gotcha.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, it's a good one. Um, credit report. So this is one where a lot of the credit tools do have this available. Not all do, but with key steps, they will get the full credit report. So any trade lines reported to TransUnion will be on here. And then they can click into any of the accounts to see things like their payment history, available credit balance, monthly payment. So just a way for them to validate information on here looks correct. There's no fraud going on, which with the monitoring, now once they're in the app, they'll get those real-time alerts if there is any of that suspicious activity or if there's any new trade lines opened. And if they don't recognize that, they can, act on it quickly because of those alerts.
Do inquiries show up?
Inquiries do show up, yes. So this next feature I'm going to show is the readiness assessment. And Bernie was talking about this one earlier, kind of mentioning how this is something that could come before the pre-approval, something where they can self-assess and really massage the situation on their own. A lot of the times buyers will want to see, what does this look like with a slightly lower interest rate? Or if I put an extra 3% down, 5% down. So they're wanting to do all these different scenarios. Anyways, so this gives them the power to do that on their own. They can, this is someone who's already ran it. So it's looking at a $595,000 purchase price in California, putting 5% down. They're able to tell us how aggressive they want to be with that monthly payment and their DTI. And then their financial details. So we're looking at their household income, monthly debts, their credit, and their savings, as well as employment. And they've got the ability to use their link data here, so like direct credit report data and financial account information, or they can use self-reported because it's not like an official pre-approval or anything. We'll let them play around with these scenarios how they'd like, and they'll get a 4-star grade here, so they can earn up to 4 stars on their cash to close, their employment, credit score, and monthly debt. And you'll see on cash to close credit score, we're pretty close on those items. So it's going to start prompting me to reach out to my assigned loan officer to see if there's a loan program that can go a little lower on the down payment, or maybe it'll accept a lower credit score. So it's going to start prompting that outreach to close the deal. They'll also get an action plan based on this result. So because I was short on credit, it's going to point me to those interactive credit tools, see what actions I can take to get my score up. And then I was also short on down payment, so it's prompting me to set that goal where I can track my savings.
And I might mention there is a place on the app where if the customers are having problems, they can get technical assistance.
Yes. Yes, we've got our support. So FinLocker, which is the company I'm with, we're the tech provider. We handle all app support. So if users have issues, whether it's linking their credit, linking a financial account, or maybe they just have a question about how to use the app. We handle that, and our team's very responsive on those items.
I can attest to that. Yes.
I'm just gonna update a couple details here so you can see how it looks when we get our 4 stars here. So now rerunning with my 4-star result. I'm looking good here. I've met all the guidelines. I didn't mention this earlier, but they can see what they're actually being graded on. So this is what lenders are looking at in the pre-approval process and underwriting. These are those actual guidelines and rules you have to meet. And it does explain, like in this lender tips, this is, there's many loan programs out there. Just because you don't meet the criteria for this one doesn't mean you can't qualify. So it's always, positioning it as this is not an end all be all. Now down here on my action plan, I've got a different set of actions. So because I got that 4-star run, now I can start looking at homes. I can look at them anytime, but it's gonna start pushing that forward as a higher priority feature for me. An article on what not to do when you get to this stage. Don't get any crazy auto loans. Don't go buy all the furniture for the house you're closing on. So all the things you guys are already coaching, your clients on, just serving it up here.
Are you guys
And then-
still sending out multi-list? I know I hear that a lot from realtors. Well, I'm sending them a list every day, So here's a way to get around that. That's a lot of trouble. It would seem to me to have to send out, a list of homes to buyers every day or every other day or even once a
Well, I
week.
think it's automated, but what I have found, and even when I was buying our house, when we were buying our house, I was out driving around. Okay, we didn't have the internet then. But I was out driving around. I'd see an open house sign. I'd call my realtor and say, okay, why didn't you send me this one? I mean, and I knew better. I was a loan officer. I knew that it wasn't in the parameters that I had set, and that's why I didn't see it. So I know that, I mean, even I did it as a consumer. Customers will look around, they'll look at the things that you do on the automatic searches, but they'll also look in Zillow because they want to see what else is out there. And that this is a way that they can not look at Zillow and they can still browse. And this is a very valuable tool for the agents who we co-brand with, because you're going to be able to see where they're looking. I saw you favorited this house over here in a different city than you told me you would not go to that city. Or, oh, I noticed you were looking at houses without basements. How would you like me to change the search? Because we only have the ones with basements. And this way, when you get this information, it gives you more relevant information to call the customer at the right time. Because if they were looking at houses 2 weeks ago, or they're going to go shopping at the nice open houses on the first nice day, you might miss that. But this way you can see they're interested, and then that pulls you in to get the follow-up at the time that they want it.
Right on. That's a good transition into this next tool. So I'm going to go at it from like our affordability perspective. So that's one of the cool things about our app. It's got all this data. So what do you do with it? Well, we just make it a more seamless experience for the consumer. When they want to go search for homes, we'll give them that like max affordability already into account here. So it's going to preset the max home price here. Of course, if they want to change that, if they want to remove the parameters, they can. Like Rosemary was saying, it's an open instance like they would get on Zillow. So just giving them that alternative where they're not gonna get inundated. And then we all hear about AI. It's there's something new with it every day. We've got AI in a few places in our tool. Search is one of in my opinion, the coolest way we're utilizing AI. It and I don't know why I always have to do this, but I'm gonna turn my camera off and now my map will probably load pretty quickly here. There it goes. So the search with AI within here, it's different than a lot of the other tools because it's not just looking at a like a description of a property listing. It's looking and scanning all of the images within that listing and applying tags and filters to all those images. So if I want to describe a let's get out of Louisiana. I think we're
Come to
more local.
Michigan. Come to
Yeah, let's go
Michigan.
back. Let's come home. What's the zip code for St. Clair Shores?
48081.
48308.
That's not it.
Four
That's
eight
okay.
three
480.
Our zip code is 48081.
081. Okay.
Well, I like that $675,000 house over there. Perfect.
Let's clear our parameters here. And now let's use this AI search. I can say I want a kitchen. Oops. With an island countertop.
No way. I love it. I
Right.
learn something more about this program every day, and then they get me new stuff.
All right, let's see how it handles this one. So I've given it 3 specific features that I'm looking for in my kitchen. And not only will it reorganize our listings here, it's going to pull forward all images of the kitchen. So I don't have to go click into all the listings and see if the kitchen is actually what I wanted. It'll pull that forward and just display it to me. So now I'm seeing the white cabinets, island countertop, and hardwood floors. With this, it's really only as good as the listings within our what we're looking at. So that's really going to be the big factor. But as you can see, it does a pretty good job at finding those specifics.
Ron has a question.
I just
Yeah,
saw one for Bob.
Is this does this system pick it up by images, or is it only as good as the realtor puts in with a text description? Like, is the AI smart enough to say, "Oh, there's the island. I see it in the picture, and I will pull it up," or does it have to be in text form
Good
in the
question.
description?
It's actually only looking at the images. It doesn't look at the description at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And we even see some agents will use it to search on behalf of their borrowers. Like they'll create their own personal account and start when they get that really unique request from a buyer, they'll start using this tool to help narrow down that search.
I highly recommend people set up their own. I haven't explored mine as much as I want to, but it's a good way to help walk people through when they have a question. You'll be able to tell them, hey, just go here. Melanie?
Is it only for single family properties, or is there multifamily properties and other type of properties?
It's got pretty much all the property types. I don't
Yeah.
think it has like a filter for new construction yet. Like that's one that I think we requested to add. But yeah, it's got like all the same filters and whatnot they would get on a Zillow or a Redfin. And then I just hit the favorite on this one. I favored another here. And I'm gonna go back into this piece of the app and I'll show you like how they can kind of track those saved homes. So once I mark that I'm interested in it, that's going to be alert to all of you. So, the agents and Rosemary and Bernie, you'll both be on an email together that they're interested in this home with these specifications. Then in their app, they'll have that list of homes they're interested in. If there's any price drops, price increases, if it goes pending, they'll see that in their app. And then that mortgage readiness assessment I was just showing in the last feature, they can actually plug the home into that. So I just say update my estimate. And now instead of I think it was like a $500,000 house, we're looking at our $255,000 house.
Is there a place to put taxes and insurance in? Or is it based on
Nice.
the information on the report?
The taxes are state specific, so it's going to be a statewide average.
Okay,
The insurance right now, I think I think we just have a static number in there across like a nationwide average, but
we can
within
change
the
that, I
next,
see.
that is the consumers can change that, and we're having some updates here in the next 30 days that we'll get that down to a state specific number.
Also, if you could make property taxes, they can change it. That would be good too.
Yeah, I'll have to ask why we ended up locking that down. That used to be one of the fields they could edit. I'm not sure
Well,
if we
what
were
they
getting to
qualify
some.
for is based, usually, unless it's new construction, based on last year's taxes, what they
Right.
qualify for. But next year, based on the way it's going to be much higher. So I would rather see what they qualify for, and then we can let them know it's going to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. In case you guys haven't noticed, FinLocker is very responsive to our needs. So when you get in there and you start looking and you say, well, it would be cool if we had a this. Well, we might have a this that I just don't know how to get to yet. Um, but if we don't, there's some things that they can do to, tweak it.
Okay, we're coming up to the end here, so we need to.
So let's ask thanks, Bernie. Um, if you are more than welcome to, Bernie, can you flash up our QR code? And also, if you want to take a look at our app, you're more than welcome to. And you're more than welcome to send your customers to our app. But what we prefer is you guys we get it co-branded with you so that you'll be in front with the customers. This will be a gift from you, sponsored by us, and that we'll be working together. So anybody who is interested, who does not have a profile set up yet, put something in the chat or give us a call. And what we'll do is we'll send you out some information that we need to set up the profile. And then what we'll do is we'll schedule an appointment with you where we can get you your credentials. So what do we have? Something in the chat?
Hey, I'm just gonna add for any realtor that hasn't signed up yet. I did sign up. I had a prospect
Thank you,
that went
Diana.
through for Bernie and Rosemary. The process to set up is not that hard. You co-brand yourself and it does work. So I highly recommend it. And I just learned a few new things today about how the search can pick up things on images. I mean, that's way cool. That's another great benefit, and that will lock your buyers in. You can just tell them, hey, you sign up for this program, you can search for homes, and then you can be specific. Like we just used the example of the island in the kitchen. You can type that in and it will pull up all homes that you're looking for with an island, or look for something that has, maybe if you're looking for a quad level or something like that. I mean, that's just a amazing thing that I learned today. And I've been on this program now for about 3 months. So I'm always learning something new.
And Diana she said that you can search for new construction. She works at FinLocker. You can search for a new construction home in the AI search example. I want new construction home with an open floor plan. So yes, there is a way that you can search through there now. Um, Social templates for Keystone that we can use, including the branding. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, Eric. We do have social media. Can you jump on verbally for a sec? Or no? social templates for Keystone that we can use that include the branding. Are you talking about the branding of Key Steps or your branding? You can get back with me and call me when you get a chance.
We
So
do have a lot of those resources that you can pass along, like
we
the
can give them a
resources
link,
page for Key Steps. That's
right?
something you guys can share with your agents. I think they in one of the setup emails, yeah, we have like an agent specific page that Diana created. But let me share my screen real quick. I can show.
Can you put the link in the chat?
Yeah, I'll drop this link in the chat as well. But all of these are, available today, where these are some Key Steps branded graphics with actual screenshots from the app. So highlighting different features in there. And then you would just include like your co-branded link for people to go ahead and take that step of signing up. So I'll drop this in the chat for you all.
And they have do the real estate agents have access to the chat feature too? Chat GPT?
Yeah, you're welcome to use it. It is on that same page, and it's
Thank you.
called the LO Growth Vault. There's a link that says get started. There's 6 custom GPTs on that page they're specifically designed to help you promote key steps. So whether that's on social media, email, text, a webinar like we're doing here, there's tools in there that can help you with specific content, like with your voice, your messaging that you want.
Yeah, we'd love to do a webinar with agents as well. If you want to bring consumers in, tap
Yeah.
on our shoulder, we'll put something together where we bring the consumers in and line them up as well.
Yeah,
If
we're going to
that's
be doing
something
some
you'd like
consumer
to do.
directs. Yeah.
Yeah, we're open to suggestions. I guess we're wrapping up.
Eric's
Very
typing a
brief.
question right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He stopped. Oh, he's typing now. That answered my question. Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, yes, he said he needs to take more time to explore the app. And yeah, I'm guilty of that too. And I really appreciate FinLocker for all their patience. Um, and for knowing that just because I don't speak tech doesn't mean I'm an idiot. Thank you guys. I thank everybody for attending. We will be having another one, and we will be setting up consumer workshops. Thank you very much, Melanie. Appreciate it. And any last words, Bernie, Ethan?
Thanks for setting this up. This was awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for being our guest speaker. We really appreciate your insight. And thank you all very much for attending. And we will see you again soon. Let us know if you want us to set you up. Let's see. Bryant doesn't have one, and Ron has one. Erica has one. Melanie, you don't have one, do you? If you want one, hook us up. And be
Yeah, I
Ashley.
strongly recommend whoever doesn't have one yet to get it up. And I'm guilty too. I need to get back in there and learn more about this app as well. I learned a lot today, so this was definitely a worthwhile event.
Thanks for, and I appreciate that, Ron. It was worthwhile to me. I learned more stuff too. Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you very much for attending. We appreciate you joining. Tell your friends and family, and we didn't even get into all the different ways you can use it because we had such websites and open house flyers and marketing online and everything. And one loan officer, he says, I got that FinLine. I got the Key Steps program on every piece of marketing collateral that I have. I haven't gotten there yet, but I want to soon. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.